Well, hey, so it is now cold. It's officially winter because, yeah, we went and harvested the last of our tomatoes and some of our other things in order to get them inside before the frost. So here we are. I had an opportunity. I was out shopping with one of my daughters last week, like Thursday or Friday, and it had not occurred to me until I was preparing for today's show about this guy that we had met. It's an older gentleman, probably in his 50s. And he saw us and he said, I didn't catch it at first. He said something like, you wear a lot of hats, don't you? And I had my Chef Dad hat on, right? That's all I had on. And I'm like, no, I just got the one. It didn't occur to me he was speaking metaphorically about, as if we have a bunch of hats that we wear as dads. So here I am. I'm like, no, I just have the one. I usually just wear the one. And he said, being a dad is a thankless job. And it didn't click. It honestly didn't click until we were walking out. And I put my hand on my daughter's shoulder and I said, no, I have a lot of thanks. And we turned around and walked out. This guy was hurting. Something in his life had seriously hurt him. It honestly didn't occur to me that he about that until just now. Now, my daughter asked, what did he mean? And at that time, I explained, well, obviously he's had some difficulty with his family. He's had some challenges and whatnot, and he's hurting. He's in a lot of pain about that. But then I just kind of like put it aside. Topic over. Then I was listening to I was listening to a sermon, and I was also reading some stuff. And the discussion about restoration kept coming up. And after these elections, how we need to be restored as a nation. I mean, just a lot of different stuff. So that term kept coming up. It was interesting. Anyhow, so I thought we'd just talk about how we all need restoration in our lives. And, I went to dictionary.com and I pulled up the relevant points of the definition of restoration. So the act of restoring, renewal, revival, or reestablishment, the state or fact of being restored, a return of something to a former, original, normal, or unimpaired condition, restitution of something taken away or lost, and something that is restored as by renovating. Interesting. For me, I guess I define it a little differently because in my life, as I've looked at it, restoration is the positive state of being and mind of having overcome a great loss. And so then why do I say a great loss? Well, you don't need to have restoration if you lose a ballpoint pen, right? Or someone takes your ballpoint pen, you write it and you leave it on the counter or whatever, and you walk away. You don't need it when you are shorted some napkins in your Happy Meal as you drive through a fast food restaurant. But when you do need restoration is when something has some stress, some action or activity against you has overwhelmed your psychological state, your personal boundary, your psychological strength, okay? And that loss has overwhelmed you to such a degree where whether it comes and goes quickly that the residue of it, so in other words, that impact and how it has affected you, is still affecting you and your relationships or your business or your finances or whatever over a period of time. Make sense? Okay. So, and that point is very unique for each of us. I know a person who has had, who previously had a form of cancer, they overcame it, and now they have another form of cancer that they're dealing with, and they're pretty sanguine about it. It's going to be what it is, and I'm going to fight. I'm going to do all the things I need to do, but if it kills me, it kills me. Okay. Other people would have curled up into a puddle and have become completely useless. I know another guy. Now this is, oh geez, this is 13 or 14 years ago, and he had liver cancer, and it was devastating. And I watched this man literally wither away, but he came to work every day. I saw him turning jaundice. I saw how it was affecting him. But he was one of the most pleasant, loving, kind, generous people I knew, despite everything. I mean, he was in great pain, everything he was going through. So a few weeks ago, my mom passed. We went to the funeral, and I have seen the relationship with my sisters and my brother and I actually getting restored as we've reached out to each other. And I see the seeds of that. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. Some time ago, when one of my girls was quite young, they had been at the school cafeteria. They had picked up a bottle of milk, didn't drink it, brought it home, and they had spilled it on the floor. And it was a carpet that they spilled it on, and it was kind of in an out-of-the-way place, so they didn't really clean it up. They said they did, but there was really no attempt to clean it up. It dried, it crusted over, it was bad. I mean, like puddle of crusty chocolate milk, like this big, on the floor. It's not a small spot. Like most of the bottle had spilled out and leaked all over the place. To say that I was very upset is an understatement, because previously they had brought two bottles. They had two bottles, therefore from 2 different days of lunch. They had 2 bottles of chocolate milk in their backpack, and one or both of them had leaked out of the bottle into their backpack, damaged a bunch of stuff. Now, bear in mind, this kid takes an iPad to school with them in a backpack that was soaked with chocolate milk. And it's not like I go and inspect their backpack every day, so I never knew. I discovered it when I was reaching into their backpack to take care of some stuff, and I found one bottle of chocolate milk, and it was wet, but it looked closed. And then I pulled out a bunch of other stuff out of their backpack, because I'm thinking, oh God, what happened? And there was another bottle of chocolate milk on the bottom of the backpack, and much of it had leaked out. Fortunately, it soaked into some mittens. And so in that respect, it was a blessing, because the mittens absorbed what could have damaged or destroyed the electronics and her schoolwork, and I mean, just all kinds of other issues. But I covered that up because I figured, okay, we've had the discussion. I made her clean it. Problem resolved. Lo and behold, weeks prior, this had occurred and I never saw it. And then one day I discovered it. And when I discovered it, I was very upset, because again, I had covered over the incident that actually, in date order, came later, and thought it was a one-off, and it wasn't. It was a trend. So I took her iPad and I said, I don't care if this takes you the entire weekend to get this fixed to my satisfaction. You will work on this until it is resolved. And if it's not resolved, you will not have your iPad back until it's resolved. Period. End of story. I was hot. It was hot. She was crying. And then what I did was we got a mug with some lemon juice, some water, and a few drops of soap, stirred it up, got a washcloth, dipped it in, and I showed her how to clean it. Because what I wanted to do was test how long would it take to make a spot to my satisfaction. About 5 minutes of some pretty intense scrubbing, and most of it had come out of the carpet. At which point I said, look, you see what it takes to fix it. You are going to fix this problem. Nobody else. You. You don't get your iPad back until it's resolved to my satisfaction. And if it's not done to my satisfaction after I get back from work, you don't get your iPad back the next day. And if it's not resolved, you don't get it back the next day. And it will continue until you solve this problem. But this is how, and you can see it's possible. I didn't want to overwhelm them with something they didn't feel like they could do. I proved that they could do it. I told them, once you get this done, I'm going to give you a high five. I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to tell you I'm proud of you for solving it. And then we move on. She was crying, but she saw that she could solve it. And I said, can you do this? And she said, yes, I can do this. I said, okay. A little bit under an hour later, it was done. It was done. She did it. How else can I say it? I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was to my satisfaction. Gave her a huge high five, gave her a gigantic hug, said, all right, come on, we're going to run some errands. I'm proud of you. Spend some time together and let's go. And she was restored, right? We all need restoration. We have all screwed things up. Okay. Now, sometimes that restoration has to come from an acknowledgement of your actions by another person. And sometimes you have to baseline your success just on industry benchmarks or performance on your job metrics, whatever the case is. You might have to find a way. You might have to create a way of recognizing that you have been restored from great loss based on actions that you were able to take. When I could not physically do things in my body, I had to tell myself, I will do something with my mind. And I will relearn how to type and how to use a mouse and a computer, and I will do it. She was bouncing in her steps. I don't know how else to say it. She was relieved. She had a sense of accomplishment because she had restored herself from what was going on. She felt fantastic. And I reinforced that for her. Okay. The problem didn't diminish my love for her, but the problem required that I reinforce the discipline that she should have in her life. And then I modeled the accountability and what it would take to resolve the problem, and then let her go and let her do it. And she felt fantastic. Okay. So I don't know how else to, I don't want to beat a dead horse. We all need restoration. We've all screwed things up. I got I got an opportunity to see my kid mess up and get restored. And this dad that we encountered at a grocery store, and his comments were a reflection of his pain and a reflection of some damage that he has endured for who knows how long. I mean, I don't know if there's a divorce, if there's just kids who don't care, or whatever the case is. I have no idea. I didn't get into it with him. I needed to get out and get home with my kid. So anyhow, listen, God bless you. Dads and moms, you guys have an amazing job. It's a tough job, but the rewards are fantastic. Okay. We need strong dads and moms to raise their kids well so that we can restore our families, restore and strengthen our communities, and restore and strengthen our nation and the nations across the planet. So now let me bless you and send you on your way. Father, I thank you for all the moms and the dads and the kids that listen to and watch these podcasts. Lord, I am grateful for all of them. I'm grateful for the emails I get. I'm grateful for the communication, the comments, the likes, and the shares. All of that is terrific. But Lord, now I ask that you would strengthen, restore, give wisdom and discernment and understanding to the moms and the dads and the kids. Help them in every way so that they may be successful and reunited with each other. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, listen, be well, take care. We will catch you again soon. Bye-bye.